I feel very privileged to have you on this show.
Oh,
Thank you for
thank
making
you.
time.
Thank you for inviting me. Yes.
Of course, it's my pleasure. And I am a student in your class, obviously. And hey, I saw your commercial, and what I have noticed about you and what stood out to me, Mike, is your calm strength and your humility and kindness and patience
Oh,
and the safe place that you provide for all of us. 'Cause I'm talking about my own experience, which is amazing. I'm really grateful that I get to study with you. I just wanted to start our conversation with this. I know that you shared your Pointless to Powerful
yes.
YouTube series. Amazing story. Your story is filled with challenges and struggle and a lot of wisdom, a lot of change since young age,
Yes.
filled with bold decisions and bold moves. So
Yes.
I wanted to ask you what finally shifted in you that actually took you from survival mode into a powerhouse?
Well, when I believe it was the realization, let's see, how old was I? I think I was 24. I think by the time I reached 24, 25, I realized, and I wasn't even studying personal development yet, but I think at that age, I realized that no one was coming to the rescue. Part of that made me bitter because, I used to always use the excuses. If my mother had come to my basketball games, if someone had supported me, I would have been in the NBA because I had like a real great jump shot and could find my way around on the court, right? And I played basketball in high school and I ran track and considered myself to be some type of an athlete. But when I realized that those excuses were no longer going to serve me, then I had a decision to make. I had choices in front of me because, as many people say, uh, you know, it's about your choices. No, it's about your decisions because people don't see your choices. They don't see your choice. They see the decision you made based on the choices that you see laid out in front of you, right? So 1986. So I graduated from business college and I think I was 22. And maybe this is where the seedling started for me was that I took 1 year of business college and I really didn't learn much but how to type. I'm like, why am I here? And, I just kind of a bit disillusioned. So I came back to California from Michigan and I went to the welfare office to get food stamps. I'm a 22-year-old strong male with my whole life in front of me, future unlimited. And I go to Long Beach, California, and I go to the welfare office to get food stamps. And so because I was like, man, the system owe me something. This system owes me, right? So I was bitter. And so I went and stood in line and they gave me a packet of paperwork, this thick, and I took it to my car and I looked, it was like 30 pages of just and what did your mother have for breakfast yesterday? It was just all of these crazy questions. And I'll never forget, I took those 30 sheets of paper and I just strewn them to the back of my car. And I was like, man, forget this. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to work. I'm a working man. That's the way my parents trained me up. If you want to eat, work. Right. So actually, I believe that was like the first like mini breakthrough that I don't see. I had that choice of welfare, beg other people, right? Or I had the choice of go get a job. So I made a decision on number three, go get a job. And so, but then I was working these jobs. I hated the jobs. Like, this is terrible. I hate this job. And I actually felt this pain I was working at a construction equipment rental company in Long Beach. That was actually a manager there for a minute. And every time I get ready to punch in, I felt this pain. It was like, oh, it's like I want to break down and cry as I'm walking the clock in. And then shortly after, I made up my mind that I want to lead my own life. I don't want someone else to have a remote control over my life. I want to determine my destiny and where I'm headed. And once I made up my mind, then I actually started liking the job because then I knew I was free. And I was actually,
Yeah.
when I left that job in, I think it was 1990 or maybe it was 92, I was actually sad that I was leaving because I kept telling the people about 6 months in advance. I said, "I'm leaving here by January, Imma be gone." And so they, my employees, fellow employees, they embraced me even more, and, uh, and I was actually sad when I left, and it was like, "Don't forget us, Mike. We'll always remember you." Because I was saying, "Imma move to Hollywood, Imma become a big star, Imma win 8 Oscars in one night. All I need is theme music," and all this stuff, right? And so I actually left and I missed the place. And there's a piece of A1 Coast Rentals in Torrance, well, Lomita, California. It's like it'll always be very fond to me. My bosses, which I didn't understand back then, I called them slave drivers and all that, which was just my own pain. Now I look back and say, wow, what a wonderful time. And I thank them for the training and just the time I had because they helped grow me up. So I believe the welfare office experience and then the experience I had a couple of years later at that job is what really, really got me started. Yes.
Was Coach Mike born out of pain, passion, or calling?
Well, it's really kind of a mixture of all of them because in the beginning, to tear away, there's got to be some, well, what one might perceive as pain, right? Because to get out of the comfort zone, there's psychological pain, right? Because the subconscious, if all it knows is comfort and safety, it's just going to keep returning to comfort and safety, and because it's certain that I'm going to live, I'm be okay. Yeah, if I'm uncertain, I'm certain that there's uncertainty, so I'm okay with that. And if there's discomfort, I kind of learn how to buffer it through, hey, it's okay to be uncomfortable. At least I know the outcome. I know that I'm gonna wake up the next day. And I know that, everything's gonna be fine. This is why some people, when everything's going fine, they're uncomfortable with that because they feel like now I can't control my outcome. If I know there's gonna be pain, then I can control that outcome, right? Because obviously that's what I've been doing because I'm certain of the outcome. But when they're uncertain of their outcome, then it's like, I don't know. That's why some people like drama all the time. They love drama. If nothing's wrong, I'm uncomfortable because then I don't have control over the situation. So I'll go pick a fight. I will start something. I will go do something stupid to screw up my life just so I can get back in the mode of certainty that I know something's wrong. I know stuff's screwed up. How am I going to get out of this? Right. As opposed to it's okay to not be in control all the time, especially when it comes to growing my life. That's okay, right? But what if I fill out this job application and they say no? And what if the sky falls? And it's okay to not know what's going to happen next. It's okay, right? So I think that's the pain that I had to go through in the beginning, right? And then, so I was able to tear away from that, some of the sleepless nights and not knowing exactly how things were going to go. Because when I had the job I so called didn't like, I was certain that I didn't like the job, but it's just still going to give me a paycheck. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to wake up tomorrow and go back and do the same thing all over again. So, I'm good with that. Hey, that's what everybody else says, right? Doesn't everybody else you talk to? How you doing today? It's Monday. How you doing today? It's hump day. It's Wednesday, right? So at least I'm not in it alone, right? Hey, how you doing today? Man, it's Friday. TGIF, getting ready for the weekend. It's like, I'll just adopt that philosophy. At least I'm not alone. At least other people say the same thing, so I'm kind of part of that army, as opposed to Monday's a wonderful day, right? It ain't no Monday, Monday. No, Mondays are wonderful, and Wednesdays are wonderful, and Friday. In fact, every day that I wake up is wonderful. Why? Because it's another opportunity for me to move in the direction of my goals. Yep. So I think it's that triad. It was where I am now is born out of all of those three things. Because in the beginning, some might call it pain, right? But it's uncomfortable tearing away from the comfort zone.
You always talk with such wisdom, and in our classes, I have my pen and paper ready and just write all these words of wisdom that you
Oh,
say. So I'm gonna quote you back to you, Mike.
okay.
So please elaborate on these. Please forgive me if the words
Ooh,
are.
let me have it. Yeah.
Yes. So you said, you say, be true to yourself, your turn will come. Be
Yes.
true to yourself, stay authentic, and your turn will come.
Yes.
Can you please elaborate that?
So what happens is when we are little, when we're born, we don't know what is going on. I mean, when I'm born, I can't even hold up my head, right? I don't even know my head. And then someone says, hold the baby's head. No, 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 no. Don't let their head just fall, right? So I don't know what I'm doing. Born with no state of mind, as one great rap song used to say, right? And so as I develop, I have these overseers, I have parents, right? And then, they show their loving kindness. And my parents, they were in their 20s and 30s. What do they know about being an adult? They're still growing up also. So, of course, they're going to screw stuff up, right? And I'm going to learn some of those things that may not be the best for me, but they're doing the best that they can, right? If I'm not being a cynic. And so they hand us these scripts. We go to school, your peers, they're handing you some script. Your teachers, they're handing you some script. So you begin to, as they say, feel some type of way about yourself. And you actually learn, and I always call it the cultural hypnotic educational system. You learn how to play your life by the rules of other people. And this is again where the comfort comes up. So it's like, I guess I'm okay with everybody, parents included, if I just dance to y'all's music, right? I guess I'm okay. You will like me. I'll fit in. And my philosophy is you were never created to fit in. You were created to stand out, right? You go to school and, you go to a new school, and what do your parents say when you whine and complain about you're going to miss your old friends because you're going to a new school? What do your average parents say? Don't worry, honey, you'll fit in. You'll fit in. No, it should have been you'll stand out, right? We don't want to fit in. I don't want to blend. So, so you're handed the script, and eventually most people, they lose their authenticity, right? They don't remain true to themselves because, if I step out a little too much, if you notice I'm wearing this color on Monday and this color on Tuesday, all through the week, if I'm wearing different colors to show my personality, then y'all might have a problem with me. And so, and I don't want to feel alone or isolated. So how should I do? What do you guys say? Like, oh, I should talk like, oh, dress like you guys. Oh, everybody's buying those $300 pair of sneaker. Oh, okay. And then I'm in the in crowd, huh? If I dress like you guys, and then pick up your vernacular. My parents didn't teach me how to talk like that, right? They taught me proper English. But if I talk like you guys, then I fit in. Okay. Oh, so if I speak too proper, as you label it, now I'm an outcast. Okay. Okay. Right. So eventually I grow, and I don't really know who I am. I just know that I develop these different facets of my personality where I'm changing in every group, right? That, when I hang out with these people that are not so good people, I adapt to this situation. And then when I hang out with the more propers, I adapt to that situation. And I'm just confused. So I lose my authenticity. I spend so much time trying to keep up with everybody else. I don't even think that, I was born with at least one gift. And along with that gift is a purpose, right? And my job is to discover what that is. I need to discover my gifts and then learn how to use those gifts in a purposeful manner, right? This way, throughout my life, I'm going to have joy, right? Not happiness, because people say how to be happy. Happiness is based on happenings, right? If I buy a new car, then I might be happy. I look out there, and that's what I was doing for some years. I didn't even drive the doggone Benz. I would just look out of the window I'm looking out of now, and I'd see it out there. And I'd be like, yeah, that's my Benz, right? And then my son grew of age and was like, Dad, can I drive your car? He was driving it more than I was. And I had several Benzes. I was upside down in my payments, and it was awful, right? Because I was addicted. Like Mercedes Benz was like crack cocaine to me almost. I just kept getting new Benz. I'd turn them in, get a new one, and it was awful. My payments turned out to be 1,500 a month. Yep,
Oh.
1,500. But the bottom line is that we must remain true to ourselves. Sometimes you got to go back. I know people say, "Don't look back, don't look back," but there's some wonderful gifts in looking back. We can see how we did it and how we should have done it and how we didn't do it and how we'll do it the next time. So I look back on my and I ask myself in the privacy of my own mind. I didn't even have to talk to anybody, right? I just ask, like, how did you get here? Why are you a people pleaser? Right? How come you don't say no when you should say no? You just agree. Oh, okay. Hey, Mike, will you do? Okay. When I started my business, I had to struggle with this, right? It's like, Mike, like you said you stopped accepting checks. Like, why do you still accept checks? I thought you said you was going to stop doing that because you kept getting bounced checks. But certain people, I would be a people pleaser. Why? Because I want you to like me. Why do you want people to like you? So I feel accepted. Why do you need their acceptance, but you feel violated by those people? Because they want you to take a check that many of them bounce. And then they blame you, some of them. I told you to hold it, don't you? And I said, Mike, why do you do that? Right? It's because you care more about what others think of you than you care of yourself. Right? The weight of their thoughts about you are much heavier than yours. And all of this had to change. And I didn't have to sit on a therapist couch to do it. I started studying personal development, right? And just working on my mindset.